Think about the last time you felt truly close to someone. Not just in the same room, not just exchanging words, but genuinely, deeply connected. When was that? If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone, and that feeling, that quiet ache of wondering why the people who matter most somehow feel just a little out of reach, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because here's what nobody tells you. The gap between you and the people you love isn't about how much time you spend together. It isn't about how many nice things you say or how many dinners you share. It's about one specific shift that most people never make. And when you finally understand, everything changes. Before we dive all the way in, if you already sense this is something you need to go deeper on, we have related programs linked down below in the video description. But honestly, most people aren't ready for that yet because they haven't felt the full weight of what we're about to unpack. So stay with me, because this might be the most important thing you watch this year. Let's start with the pain, because I need you to feel this first. You've had conversations that ended in silence, not peaceful silence, the kind that sits heavy in your chest. You've said the right words and somehow made things worse. You've tried to be there for someone and they still pulled away. You've looked at a person you've known for years and realized in a terrifying flash that you have no idea what's actually going on inside them. And worse, you wonder if they have any idea what's going on inside you. That loneliness doesn't happen because you're broken. It happens because nobody ever taught you how connection actually works. Most people believe relationships are built on shared experiences, time together, loyalty, history. And while those things matter, none of them are the foundation. The real foundation is something most people unconsciously skip every single day. Here's the shift. Real connection isn't built by being understood. It's built by making the other person feel understood. Read that again slowly. Because your entire approach to relationships might be flipped backwards right now. When you're in a difficult conversation, where is your focus? Most people are thinking about what they're going to say next. They're preparing their point, their defense, their advice. They're managing their own emotions. Meanwhile, the person in front of them is starving for someone to simply see them. Studies on human connection consistently show that the number one thing people crave in relationships is to feel heard. Not agreed with, not fixed, heard. And yet most of us are so focused on expressing ourselves that we miss the single most powerful tool available to us at any moment. And this is where things get dramatic, because the cost of missing this is enormous. Relationships that could be extraordinary stay mediocre. Marriages that had every reason to thrive quietly erode from the inside. Friendships that were once electric slowly fade into small talk and obligation. Parent and child bonds that could be deep and trusting turn into tension-filled standoffs where nobody really knows the other person at all. And the worst part is that everyone involved usually loves each other. They just don't know how to show up in a way that actually lands. The cost of poor connection isn't just emotional. Research shows that people with weak relationship quality experience significantly higher levels of stress, lower immune function, and even shorter lifespans. The people who master connection aren't just happier. They are literally healthier, more successful, and they move through the world differently. Others are drawn to them. Trust finds them easily. Opportunities open through their relationships that logic alone could never manufacture. Think about someone in your life who everyone gravitates toward. Not the loudest person, not the most impressive one on paper, the one who somehow makes you feel like the most important person in the room when you're talking to them. That feeling isn't an accident, it's a skill, and every skill can be learned. Here's the first layer of the shift. Stop listening to respond, start listening to understand. When someone speaks to you, especially someone you love, most of your brain is running a background program evaluating, judging, preparing, defending. Underneath all of that noise is what they actually need, which is for you to slow down and stay with them in the moment. This isn't about being passive, it's about being fully present. When you can sit with another person's emotion without rushing to change it, without flinching away from it, something miraculous happens. They feel safe. And safety is the seed of every deep relationship that has ever existed. Now here's the second layer, and this is where the real transformation lives. Most people in relationships are unknowingly asking the wrong question. They ask, how can I get this person to understand me? The people who have extraordinary relationships ask something completely different. They ask, what does this person actually need right now? That single question rewires everything. It moves you out of your own head and into the experience of someone else. And the moment you genuinely make that move, the other person feels it. Not because you said something perfect, but because your energy shifted. Humans are wired to sense the difference between someone who is performing connection and someone who is actually present. Here's a story that illustrates this perfectly. Imagine two people going through a moment of tension. One of them is hurt and pulling away. The other is confused and trying harder, saying all the things that seem logical, trying to explain, trying to fix. And the more that person explains, the further away the hurt person moves. The conversation spirals. both of them end up more alone than when it started. Now imagine the exact same moment, but one thing changes. Instead of responding with logic, the second person pauses, takes a breath, and instead of explaining, simply says, "It sounds like this really hurt you. Tell me more." That's it. That's the whole shift. And what happens in that moment is almost impossible to believe until you experience it yourself. The walls come down, the tension dissolves, and suddenly two people who are on opposite sides of a gulf are standing in the same place again. This isn't theory. People who apply this in their daily lives report dramatic changes within days, not weeks, not months, days. Because connection isn't something you have to build slowly over time. It can shift in a single conversation when you show up differently in it. The third layer of this shift is what separates the people who understand this intellectually from the ones who actually live it. Consistency. Connection isn't a technique you pull out during conflict. It's a way of moving through every interaction with the people you care about. It's the difference between being someone who is nice and being someone who is deeply trustworthy. Trustworthiness comes from consistency, and consistency comes from intention. When you make it your daily practice to prioritize understanding over being understood, something remarkable compounds over time. The people around you begin to open up in ways they never have before. Conversations that used to stay on the surface begin to go somewhere real, and relationships that felt stagnant for years begin to move again. People who commit to this report that within 30 to 90 days, they notice measurable changes in how their relationships feel. Less conflict, more ease, a sense of being known and knowing others that most people spend their entire lives searching for without finding. You don't have to spend years and years trying to figure this out alone through trial and error when everything you need is already available to you. If you're ready to go far beyond what we've covered here today and want to apply these principles in a structured, deeply guided way that creates lasting change faster than you ever thought possible, the programs linked down below in the video description are the next step. Don't wait until another important relationship quietly deteriorates to the point where it's too late to turn it around. The people who transform their relationships fastest are the ones who act before the situation becomes a crisis. The link is right there below this video, and the time to use it is now. The shift is simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. It means worth it, and the people in your life are worth it. More importantly, the version of you who shows up fully connected, fully present, fully seen and seeing others, that version of you is who you were always meant to be.